Hello, hello. Welcome to a Dreamer's Experience Conquer the Chaos. My name is Sean Laurie, and as an entrepreneur and a father of four, I want to give you guys different resources and tools each week from either myself, my wife, or others that will not only help you as an individual, but also as a parent conquer the chaos.
And hey guys, my name is Tiffany Lowry and I co host alongside my husband. I do wear many hats, and the two that I'm the most proud of is being a mother and a wife. We've had many chaotic moments as a family, but have somehow always managed to conquer the chaos. And that's why I'm excited to be here with you guys to share part of our journey.
Yes, yes. So welcome, guys. Welcome. Really quick too, before we start, I want to just remind you guys, if you guys are fathers or if you know any fathers that could benefit from the community and the things that I'm doing with them, I would love to have you join and be a part of what I'm doing, with the whole with all the fathers, honestly. And all you have to do is go to conquerthechaos.net. And you can find out more details of what I'm doing with that. Also, I do coaching as well with families, individuals, mentorship, and things like that. So if that's something you're interested in, I definitely encourage you to check that out. And obviously, follow us on all the platforms at Dreamers Experience. Join the community at No Perfect Parent, on Facebook. But yeah. So I want to get that out the way now. It's been a little bit. It's been what, like a week or two, since we last spoke. And so I guess first, before we dive into it today, I actually want to dive into something that I think is really big, not only for us as individuals, but super huge when it comes to being a parent. That's change, right? That's change. And so, I guess to start off as an icebreaker, what is, obviously we all deal with change, but like for you, what is probably, I want to say, what was of like one of the most memorable changes for you?
Um, Probably so far, I think moving out here to Texas
Yeah.
from California, that was a big change.
Yeah. True, true,
Definitely
true.
memorable.
Yeah, yeah. I can definitely agree with that. Um, I would say, I guess that the biggest change, for me, honestly, was, being married,
Hmm.
right? Being married, and that's a whole different dynamic and things like that. And so, and the family and things like that. So for me, I was thinking when it comes to change, right? We are obviously constantly are dealing with different things, but we don't think about how it impacts our kids too.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
because I was thinking about, like, for example, with each child, that child has to change as well,
yeah,
because their roles change. So obviously, our oldest, it was just her, and then we had our son, and so her role changed. Right now, she's the big sister, and then obviously we have four kids, but then after our junior, then we had, Lania, and so that role changed. So just think about that. So we see it at times, right, where the maybe the child starts, want to be baby more, start
hmm
acting up, right, and we get mad, we get frustrated, but we don't think about how big of a change that is,
yeah.
and how that impacts them. And so I think that's something that, like, as parents, we definitely have to be just more conscious
More
of.
mindful of. Yeah,
Yeah, because it's a huge thing. Even moving here, right? Like you said, like that was a huge deal. But I don't think we think about how it affects our kids. Like, um, because just like as people, a lot of people actually hate change.
yeah.
I'm one of those people. I'm not big on change either. It does scare me at times. Um, Shoot, even wifey joked, with her hair, she thinks I don't like it, but I do. But with her hair, she
As
changed
I roll
her.
my eyes.
Yeah, she changed her hair color, I should say, and, she does this a lot. Now there is times where I have not liked it. That is true. There's
Yeah.
times where I have not liked it.
I think when I went, I think the blondest I've been, I don't think you liked that,
The
even though
blonde,
I liked it.
I don't remember, but there's probably a couple where I wasn't like a fan
My pink
of
hair.
it.
That
Yeah,
wasn't on
yeah,
purpose,
yeah,
to be
yeah.
fair, on my
Yeah,
part.
the pink hair, I definitely was not a fan of that. But right, I had to adjust, right? I had to adjust to it. Um, and so I think that's something that at times we struggle with because let's be honest too, depending on how you are when there's a change, you can get angry. you
Mm-hmm.
know
Different emotions.
yeah, you start just being like, oh, what the heck, like, and depending on how big the change is too. Obviously
Mm-hmm.
there's different, like, we're seeing it now, right? Especially in today's age, where literally, kids are wanting to change their whole sex, right? And that's a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
And just imagine as a parent, like, what the different emotions and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't even imagine. I actually used to know someone that was dealing with that, and it was difficult. It was difficult. Obviously that's more like, that's a huge like change, obviously, but
Yeah.
um, I just look at, like, so there's three things I actually wanted to share with you guys on why. There's many reasons why people dislike change, but three reasons why that really stick out to me on why people hate change, and you can kind of just chime in as far as what you think about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the first things is more work. Like, that's what comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, more work as far as, like, for the most part, right? Like, oh, I'll even use your hair for example, right? So we use your hair, but
Here we go.
but no, I'm just using that. It's something small, but more work. And the reason why I say that is because, even though, let's say I'm like, oh man, I dislike it, it's pink or whatever the color is,
Mm-hmm.
it's more work because I can easily, for example, I can easily start, I don't know, let's say, being standoffish towards you,
Mm-hmm.
or acting a certain way towards you,
Mm-hmm.
so I have to work on that myself. Like, okay, it's just hair,
Yeah.
right? Like, I shouldn't let that, like, it doesn't change who she is. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's literally just hair. She can literally, dye it another color tomorrow.
Green.
Yeah, yeah, green, right. So, but that's what, and even like you said out here, like, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like when we moved to Texas, like, that took work.
Yeah. I think for me, I think that was definitely a lot of work that had to be put in when we moved out here. Just overall, it was a big adjustment, I think, for me, going from staying home for like almost 3 years to
Yeah,
now working full time. That in itself, I mean, changing states, but even that simple thing, like
yeah,
from not working to going back to work,
yeah,
that was difficult for
yeah.
me.
No, that, and like you said, that's true right there too. And that definitely, obviously, I mean, literally work as what you did, but are doing,
Yeah.
but also just work as far as, even like you said, moving, trying to get our place the way you want to, right?
Yeah.
Like, that takes work, right? Again, like a system down, that takes work. Trying to get some type of normalcy, what I mean, which
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk about as well. But, like, that definitely took work, for sure. And then I think the second one is, which also, we can relate to, is the fear of unknown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The fear of unknown. I feel like that's honestly probably the number one a lot of times,
Yeah.
because that covers so much. But the fear of unknown, especially as parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shoot, for us, moving out of state, okay, we have unknown as far as, okay, we don't have family to rely on now to watch the kids when
Yeah.
we want to get away.
Mm-hmm.
Our kids are literally changing schools. How is that going to, like, are they going to be able to respond to it, or is it going to be something where this is literally a disaster?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And luckily, I mean, luckily for us, our little ones were fine, but you know, Camille had the biggest change.
Yeah,
Obviously we had a big change too, but obviously we're adults, we can adjust as needed. But for her, like that was a huge jump for her too.
yeah, yeah. And I've had clients that's, move like cities or even states,
Mm-hmm.
and their kids did not adjust well at all, like, to the point where they started acting up in school
Mm-hmm.
because they was just that upset,
Mm-hmm.
right? They wasn't able to adjust. Just like, again, it's a big change for us, it's a big change for them, and they wasn't able to adjust it. Where that's why I said too, it's so easy, as much as work maybe physically, but mentally,
Mm-hmm.
really working on ourselves, because it's so easy for us to check out or be upset. but their
Mhm.
child literally was acting up to the point where they were like, "Dang, we don't know what to do." Like,
Mhm.
we pretty much, I don't know, we got a homeschool or should we just move them, move them with one of the family members closer to their old school type of situation.
Mhm.
And those are conversations like I had a conversation with our oldest actually because I know it's a huge thing. I was like, "Hey, are you sure you're okay with this?" We even said, "Hey, if need be, if you want, you could stay with your grandma for a little bit and then come out here." And
Mhm.
again, of course, we didn't want her to leave. We love her to death, but I also understood that it's a big change.
Yeah, and I remember when we did have that conversation with her, we even gave her the option to go back during the summer, and
Yeah,
she was like, "No, I don't want to." And even when we asked her why, like, "Oh, how come you don't want to go back? You can be with your friends, finish out your senior year." And she was like, "Well, I don't want to go back and be without you guys."
yeah,
So,
yeah.
because I'm sure that in itself would have been a huge
That's true too.
change too.
That's true
Like
too.
going back there, not having us.
Yeah,
She would have had freedom in her friends, but she wouldn't. Even though they get on her nerves, like she wouldn't have had like all her siblings and
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that. So
yeah,
that would have been another adjustment.
yeah,
So
yeah. And fortunately, because I'm sure there's still some kids out there that are like, yeah, fine, go ahead, leave, right? But like, we try to be a very close knit family, so that's one of those things too. I think that's why she didn't want to be away
yeah,
because she'll
for
be like, oh,
sure.
I'm missing out on different things.
Hmm.
And even then, right there, or there's probably cases where I'm sure too, where the child might be like, yeah, I'm gonna stay,
Hmm.
and then realize, oh no, this I want to be with my family. I want to be
Hmm. Yeah.
close to them. So yeah, but it was just very important to me to make sure that we had that conversation, because we try to be very transparent with our kids, especially our oldest. Obviously, yeah, she's, man, it's crazy. She's about to be a senior soon, but just like talking to her and letting her know, like, hey, you have options, because
Hmm.
I think that's the thing too. When there's a big change as parents, as our kids are older, of course, if they're little, I mean, they're little. They don't
Yeah.
really, that I feel like they can adjust easier,
Yeah.
right? It like our little kids, us moving to Texas, yes, it sucked for them in a way, but at the same time, they was able to adjust because they're little.
Hmm.
Um, but when your kids are a little bit older, some 15, 14, 13, whatever the case is, and there's a big change, talk to them, let them know, hey, okay, you have options,
Hmm.
right? Even if it's something small, just so they
Yeah.
might feel like, okay, I'm not like, okay, yeah, this sucks, but at least I was able to have some type of comfort
Hmm.
knowing that I was able to do A or
Yeah.
B. That's what I kind of feel on that one.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and then was it? I said, oh, more work, um, the fear of unknown, and then the third one is losing status.
Hmm.
Losing status, and what I mean by that, again, we'll use us as example, moving, and I say losing status as far as in California, you know, we was so many different things to so many people. We played so many different roles, and that changed,
Hmm.
right? Where we don't know anyone, like we're literally starting from scratch,
Hmm.
and that could be a big thing depending on what the change is. So, your child's going to college,
Hmm.
right? And let's say as a parent, your whole world was just evolved around your child.
Hmm.
So when they go to college, you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You kind of lost your identity in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh shoot, or shoot, you have a family, but you, unfortunately, it didn't work out. You got divorced, and now all of a sudden, your mom every other weekend or your dad every other weekend.
Mm-hmm.
How does that look?
Yeah.
And that kind of messes with you too. Or just with anything, like lose your job, just different things where it's a huge change, and you're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, what am I now?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What am I now? And that's so easy for you to kind of get lost in a place where you lose your identity, because it
Yeah.
happens so many times, especially as parents.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we get caught up in just, oh, I'm so and so's parent.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's really it. Like I don't do anything besides when it involves them.
Yeah.
And then and I use college and stuff. It might not even be college. It's just one of those things where your child is getting older and niggas don't want to be bothered anymore,
Mm-hmm.
especially as teenagers.
Yeah.
Right? Like they don't want to be bothered anymore. I want to go to the movies. I want to hang out with my friend. I really just lock myself in my room. Like,
Yeah, it's Camille.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's most teens, I think. But yeah, it's just one of those things where you're like, dang, okay, I didn't even really like. This is a huge change. I'm used to my child being right there with me, or I'm doing everything with my child.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, I gotta kind of figure out who am I. Like I kind of lost, and not that you lost your status as far as like being at. You're still the parent,
Mm-hmm.
but just the status as far as okay, we did everything together,
Mm-hmm.
or we constantly just yeah, same thing, went everywhere together, did everything together, and it just changed. So
Yeah.
that's something that I think is a big thing too.
Yeah, like you said, just more so getting lost in that identity, like how you identify with, like, as a parent, basically, like that status, like you said.
Yeah, yeah. And so now I want to make sure I gave you guys, three ways that three reasons why I really like, people don't like it. um but I want to make sure I give you guys actually three things to help you with that, to be the hand, because change is going to happen regardless. There's nothing we can do that's going to stop that. There's always going to be change,
Yeah.
no matter what, unless you just don't do anything. um but the first thing, and I mentioned it earlier, the first thing that help when it comes to change is strive for some type of normalcy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some type of structure. Some, like when we moved out here again, um I mentioned it before, but we try to do our best to make it somewhat normal, not only for us but for our kids.
Yeah.
You know, where okay, hey, yeah, let's go to a park. Remember, we would always go to the park.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, sometimes we would go. Well, they like McDonald's, but we go get nuggets or whatever the case is. Just little things here and there, and then also, hey, this is the normal stuff. Hey, let's try something new,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, oh yeah, we'll go Chuck E. Cheese, but let's try, this museum that's out here. That's pretty cool that we heard about, just different things like that. So it's not like, okay, yes, it's different, but it's somewhat the same.
Yeah. Almost like making, like, okay, this is what you're used to, but now let's make like new memories in a sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it's one of those things, right? Where is again, it's going to be a big change, especially out here, like for us, right? So being in Texas now, we deal with the humidity, right? We deal with the humidity, but at least our son, excuse me, he wants to play basketball and things like that. So I had to adjust. It's not okay. You know what? Yeah, we can go play at the park at this time because it's too high, it's too humid. So I had to adjust. Okay, in the morning, there's still some normalcy where you can go play outside, or even all the kids if they get up early enough. Oh, we all go to the park, different things like that. But yeah, just creating some type of normalcy where it's not like, oh my gosh, everything is different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But in all facets, like no matter what it is, you could have changed jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
The same routine you would do to prepare for work, do that same thing
Mm-hmm.
just to make yourself okay. This is somewhat, yes, it's different, but let me somewhat not freak myself out, because we start getting in our own heads.
Yeah.
Especially some people can't handle, like they maybe can handle some change, but when everything seems to be different, they freak out.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can have the same routine, okay, you know what? Yeah, my schedule changed, but I'm still gonna make sure I go to the gym
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, however your routine was.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second thing is focus on your values over the way that you feel.
Mm. That's a good one.
Right? Focus on your values over the way that you feel. And so, um, again, for us, how we felt leaving, upset, sad, happy, anxious, nervous. But what we valued is our family. What we valued is being able to have a peace of mind, being able to do certain things as well,
Mm-hmm.
because we felt like we was restricted in certain areas,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we value. So that's something I feel like, you know, we have to make sure, okay, this change is happening. Now, some changes obviously we can't control, but at the same time, depending on what the change is, okay, why is this happening?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, man, okay, I feel this way. but what do I value?
Mhm.
Right? Oh man, you know what? I am cutting back my hours. Like I feel upset because like money is tight right now, but I valued my kids. So that's
Mhm.
why I cut back my hours.
Mhm.
Like I
Yeah.
get to create these memories.
Mhm.
That's something I think that honestly, if people, parents, if we can do that more often, that will help a lot when it comes to change.
Yeah, because a lot of times we like to tie our emotions to the things that are happening instead of we. Like I said, a lot of times I think we tie our emotions into different scenarios that are going on, and then we kind of lose focus of like the now because we're so caught up in, oh, I'm, angry, mad, sad, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Think about it with people. We see it a lot, right? Where it doesn't work out with the parents, and they're feeling upset, they're feeling betrayed. um they have all these different emotions, and instead of valuing, okay, you know what, dang, that sucks, but at the end of the day, my child has their mother, my child has their father,
Hmm.
and I'm able to be with my child, right?
Hmm.
That's what you value, that's what you should be focused on. But instead, they're focused on how they feel
Hmm.
because they're upset. This is a huge change. I just had to divorce my husband, my wife, or whatever. The mother of my child, the father of my child, it didn't work out. This is a huge change. I've been with this person for X amount of years.
Hmm.
And they're so upset. And again, it's understandable, especially depending on the situation. They cheat on you, whatever the case was. But you get so caught up in that now you're being vengeful, right?
Hmm.
Like you're doing things out of spite,
Hmm.
instead of, okay, no, I value my child. And at the end of the day, regardless how I feel about this person, like
Hmm.
I value my child more. And I
Hmm.
know that my child needs their mother. I know my child needs their father.
Hmm.
And even though they're a sucky spouse, they
Hmm.
are a great parent.
Hmm.
So do you value, which one do you value more? Are you so caught up in, oh, it didn't work out with me and this person? Or do you
Hmm.
value, okay, it didn't work out, but man, they're a heck of a parent.
Yeah. And I think again that ties into the emotions of it.
Hmm.
Like we let our emotions take over, and then like you said, we forget all the positive.
Yeah, yeah, and that's so easy to do too.
Hmm.
Especially, I mean, again, if we're all emotional creatures, we all
Hmm.
deal. It's just more so understanding it and not getting so what's the word I'm looking for? So lost in your emotions. Again, it's going to happen.
Hmm.
Like, I'm not saying you're a robot and something happens and you show no emotion. No, of
Yeah.
course. You might be upset, you might be sad or whatever the case is. Okay, that's a natural thing. And then after that, okay, what's next?
Hmm.
Right? Don't live in that in
Yeah.
those feelings. And
Like let it linger,
yeah,
because then whatever that is turns into like resentment
yeah.
or whatever after.
And you start making decisions or you do things that you regret later
Hmm.
because you felt some type of way at that moment.
Yeah.
And then the third one I want to share with you guys that will help you, as far as handling change, is honestly just don't expect stability
Hmm.
overall. I'm not saying, oh, what do you mean? I've been working at my job for 15 years. That's not what I mean. I mean stability in your stability as far as like it's gonna always be the same thing. Things are
Hmm.
gonna happen.
Hmm.
So you just expect for it, prepare for it,
Yeah.
get ready for it, right?
Hmm.
That's why, for example, there is some people that just work out for vanity or things like that. But, people, they start working out because they're trying to prepare. Okay, I'm getting older now. There's a
Hmm.
chance my health can start to decline.
Hmm.
There's a chance that, diabetes run in my family, or, my metabolism is slowing down. So, let me make sure I'm able to kind of combat that by
Hmm.
staying in somewhat in shape, you know, just all different things that, oh, you know, like I said, never expect stability. So for me, I look at like, I want to make sure I'm being the best father I can be, the best husband I can be,
Hmm.
right? Because if I'm doing my part and making sure as well, then things might not shift.
Hmm.
There's still a chance, obviously, people are human.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things. I think if you kind of expect it, like okay, there's going to be some type of something that happens, and you can say no, that's not true. I eat the same breakfast, Sean. I do the same routine every day. Okay, but what happens when your car breaks down randomly?
Mm-hmm.
What happens when for whatever reason your car got declined,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like just different things like that. That's what I mean as far as don't expect stability as far as life goes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I should say. Don't expect stability as far as life.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think just to bank off of that is, expect that something eventually is going to change and learn how to adjust,
Yeah.
honestly. Like, I'll even use this example from this past week.
Mhm.
We had planned on taking the kids to the zoo
Oh, yeah.
um, this past week because I was off, and unexpectedly, we had to get a new car battery. So, instead of, we still wanted to do something with the kids, we had to adjust. And we ended up taking them to this museum out here. And, even though we had to adjust, it was still like we still had a good time.
Mhm.
Like, so just learning to adjust when those changes do arise.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. Being able to adapt because
Hmm.
again, it's going to happen. Like you might have seen, oh no, but my neighbor, they look like the same thing every day. They're married, they raise their kids. Like it looks like nothing ever goes on. That's just what we see. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors. You don't know what
Yeah.
type of changes is going on,
Hmm.
right? And how they're handling that. Now, obviously, again, changes are going to happen in our life, but like you said, adapting to it and how we handle it emotionally.
Hmm.
Because, for example, you said that the car battery, but what if we had the mindset, oh man, this just throws everything off. We have this plan, we have that. No, we're not going to do anything
Hmm.
because we're that upset. Oh well, we still got the money to be. No, it doesn't matter though. This is just extra money that
Hmm.
right, and that happens.
Hmm.
Like there's people, including myself, I've did that before,
Hmm.
where I'm getting so caught up in my head that I'm ignoring that. No, these something can still be done, or we just change it a little bit and it can still be done.
Hmm.
So I think that's just
Yeah.
key. I think that's key. But yeah, I definitely just wanted to talk about that because change is something, um, well, something I'm thinking about doing. You guys will see soon, maybe. But yeah, change is just something that I feel like is a big thing. It's something that not only as parents but just as individuals we should really, really learn to accept
Hmm.
and learn to adapt.
Hmm.
Right? Not every change is going to be for the better. I don't think,
Hmm.
but it can teach you something.
I think really quick, something I just thought of too. Um, right? Like as parents, like our kids are always watching, right? So, especially like if you have, little kids like we do, like they're constantly watching, constantly picking up habits that we do. So, if there's a change that happens, and depending on how we react to that change, our kids are going to learn to react that same way when changes happen.
Mm,
And so you also have to take that into consideration, us too, right? Like, if we moved out here and let's say like we didn't let we had a hard time at first and we were like constantly mad all the time, we're sad, da da da, whatever, our kids are going to pick up on that, and then they're going to start being sad, mad, oh, I want to go back to California, da, da, just like different stuff like that.
yeah.
Or not even just with that, just with anything in general. So also just be mindful of that. How you react to the change is going to be more than likely your kids are going to react that same way,
Mm.
you know?
No, I like that. That's a gem right there. No, I agree. For sure. Because I was just thinking about it when she said that. Because so what I like to do at times, I haven't did it in a little while, but what I like to do at times is like I call it like a little dance party. I play music and I'm dancing. I'm having the kids dance, like almost like a little, I don't know, a little dance thing that we do,
Hmm.
just to have fun. And then, but I remember doing those things and stuff like that, with the kids. So it was like, okay, even though things have changed, dad is still his happy-go-lucky self. He's still trying to hang out with me, do different things like that. Where and there was times, I don't even know if our kids really even knew, but there has been times when we moved out here, when we first moved out here, where we were frustrated, you know. But we just, make sure the kids, hey, you guys good? Okay, no, it's gonna be all right. And even though we was like, oh, this sucks right now, what we're dealing with,
Mm.
so I definitely agree with that because they pick up on our energy because they're looking towards us. Even if your kid is a teenager, heck, shoot, when they're grown, they'll they'll look to you many times. So just feeding off of that, like, okay, mom and dad are okay. They seem to be fine. So yeah,
Hmm.
so I'll be okay because
Hmm.
they're looking for guidance. Like
Yeah.
our kids are always looking for guidance. So if they're feeling lost or they're feeling sad or feeling whatever type of way, and they turn towards you and they see the same thing.
Yeah. And especially because, like, a lot of times, our kids look to us as being like, right? Let's be honest. Like, they look at us like they're heroes,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh, you know, a super mom, super
Hmm.
dad, stuff like that. So of course, naturally, if they see us, which is understandable, we at times as parents we have our moments, but if they see us constantly being in that like bad mood or being sad or whatever, then that's going to start to take a toll on them, and eventually they're going to start reacting that same way, like, oh, I don't want to be here, or
Yeah.
whatever the case is.
Yeah. No, that's true. No, I love it. I love it. So, um, but yeah, like I said, man, it was something that was really just weighing on me, and something I wanted us to discuss. It's just change and how we should adapt. Excuse me, how we should adapt to it and be trying to handle it, and just understand that it's going to happen. There's
Hmm.
nothing we could do about it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, again, guys, make sure you guys subscribe, check us out. I appreciate you guys like always. So before we go, I just want to remind you, parents, to keep being who you are, keep being that constant stability for your family, and just remember that every day you're conquering the chaos. See you guys.